Be me, 24-year-old software developer at mid-sized tech company. Life is pretty good, got my own apartment and finally earning decent money. New girl joins our team 3 months ago. Let's call her Sarah. She's 26, brown hair always in a messy bun, thick glasses that make her eyes look huge. Seems shy and quiet at first, keeps to herself mostly. Figure she's just introverted like half the people in tech anyway. She sits 2 desks away from me in our open office layout. Notice she brings the same sad sandwich every day and eats alone while browsing her phone. Feel bad for her, so I invite her to join our lunch group one day. Hey Sarah, we're getting ramen if you want to come, I say casually. She looks up at me like I just asked her to solve world hunger. Oh, I guess I could, she mumbles while adjusting her glasses nervously. At lunch, she barely talks, just nods along while we discuss the new Zelda game. When someone mentions their girlfriend, I swear I see her eye twitch a little. Whatever, some people are just awkward, no big deal. Start including her in lunch invites regularly because I'm not a complete asshole. After a few weeks, she starts opening up more during our conversations. Turns out she's really into anime and knows way too much about obscure visual novels. You ever play Katawa Shoujo? She asked me one day while we're waiting for our food. It really opened my eyes to how relationships should work. That should have been red flag number 1, but I'm retarded and just happy she's talking. We start chatting more about anime and games during work breaks. One day she comes to my desk looking excited about something. Anon, I found this amazing online community that really gets it, she says. Gets what? I ask while trying to debug some crappy code. She leans in closer and I can smell that she hasn't washed her hair in days. How modern dating is completely broken and men have ruined everything, she says matter-of-factly. My fingers freeze over the keyboard. What do you mean? I ask, already regretting this conversation. She pulls out her phone and shows me some forum called Pink Pill Central, or some shit. It's exactly what you'd expect. Walls of text about how all men are trash, dating strategies that involve psychological warfare, and cope posts about being alone. See, they understand that men only want Stacy types and ignore girls with actual personalities, she explains while I try to process what I'm seeing. Sarah, this seems kind of extreme, I say carefully. Her face immediately goes dark like I just insulted her waifu. Of course you'd say that, you're a male. She spits out the word like it's poison. You probably have a girlfriend who's way out of your league. I'm actually single, I tell her, which was apparently the wrong thing to say. Her eyes light up like she just found a new test subject. From that day forward, she makes it her mission to educate me about the Femcel philosophy. Every lunch break becomes a lecture. Did you know that 80% of women compete for the top 20% of men? She tells me one day while angrily stabbing her sad sandwich. That's literally the opposite of what incels say, I point out. She glares at me through her smudged glasses. Incels are delusional misogynists. We're just acknowledging reality, she says without a hint of irony. Men have unrealistic standards thanks to porn and Instagram. Meanwhile, she's told me multiple times that she won't date anyone under 6 feet tall who doesn't look like a K-pop idol. The cognitive dissonance is incredible. She starts sending me links to Femcel content constantly. My phone buzzes at 2 a.m. with messages like, "This video explains everything about male nature." The video is always some bitter woman ranting into a webcam about how men are biologically programmed to be terrible. Real uplifting stuff. Try to distance myself, but she's like a barnacle attached to my work life. Shows up at my desk uninvited to share her latest revelations. Anon, I figured out why you're single, she announces one morning. You're too nice. Women only want dark triad personalities. Maybe I'm single because I want to be, I suggest. She laughs like I just told the funniest joke in the world. No man wants to be single. You're just coping, she insists. You need to become more toxic if you want to attract females. Yes, she unironically calls women females while complaining about men doing the same thing. The lack of self-awareness is astronomical. She starts trying to help me with dating advice that sounds like it came from a psychological torture manual. You need to neg them subtly, make them feel insecure, she explains during lunch. Also, never text back quickly, make them chase you. That sounds manipulative as hell, I tell her. She shrugs and adjusts her glasses that are held together with tape. It's not manipulation, it's strategy, she says. Men do it to us all the time. We're just leveling the playing field. Find out from a coworker that she asked him out and he politely declined. She apparently called him a lookist pig and reported him to HR. HR dismissed it because saying no to a date isn't harassment, but now everyone avoids her like she has the plague. She interprets this as validation of her worldview. See, men conspire to isolate women who speak the truth, she tells me. One day she shows up to work looking rougher than usual, hair greasy, same shirt as yesterday, eyes red like she's been crying. You okay? I ask, making the mistake of showing basic human concern. She breaks down and starts trauma dumping immediately. My online boyfriend turned out to be catfishing me, she sobs. He was using pictures of some male model from Instagram. That sucks. I'm sorry, I say, trying to be supportive. She suddenly stops crying and looks at me with pure rage. This is what men do. They lie and manipulate and make us think we have a chance, she practically screams in the middle of the office. Everyone is staring at us now. I want to sink into the floor and disappear forever. Maybe online dating just sucks for everyone, I suggest weakly. You don't get it because you have male privilege, she shouts. You could get any woman you want if you just tried. Brother, if I could get any woman I wanted, would I be sitting here listening to your insane rants every day? But I keep that thought to myself. She storms off to the bathroom and doesn't come back for an hour. When she returns, she acts like nothing happened. The next day, she's back to preaching the Femcel gospel. Shows me a post about looks maxing for femcels that involves extreme plastic surgery. I'm thinking of getting canthal tilt surgery, she says casually. It's the only way to compete with Stacy. You look fine, you don't need surgery, I tell her honestly. She scoffs and rolls her eyes so hard I'm surprised they don't fall out. Easy for you to say, you don't have to meet female beauty standards, she says. Men just have to shower and they're considered attractive. I look at her greasy hair and stained hoodie and decide not to point out the irony. Sometimes silence is the best response. She starts bringing weird supplements to work, stuff she ordered from sketchy websites. It's for facial harmony, she explains. Pretty sure she's just taking overpriced vitamins, but she's convinced they'll transform her into an anime character or something. One particularly cursed day, she decides to practice her dark feminine energy on me. Starts acting like a discount version of a femme fatale. Oh, Anon, could you help me with this code? She purrs while leaning over my desk. I'm just a helpless girl who needs a strong man. The sarcasm is so thick you could cut it with a knife. Also, she smells like she bathed in cheap perfume to cover up not showering. Just email me the error message, I say, trying to maintain professional boundaries. She deflates like a punctured balloon. This is why you're single, she snaps, dropping the act immediately. You can't even recognize when a woman is interested. Lady, you were being sarcastic as hell and we both know it, but I just nod and go back to my work while she stomps away. She gets worse after discovering female dating strategy content. Starts talking about high-value males and scrotes, unironically. I've decided I'm only dating men who make 6 figures and will pay for everything, she announces. It's what I deserve as a queen. This is coming from someone who brings the same peanut butter sandwich every day and wears the same 3 anime t-shirts in rotation. Good luck with that, I say, not even trying to hide my sarcasm anymore. She misinterprets it as encouragement. Thanks, I know my worth now, she says proudly. No more settling for low-value males who play video games and watch anime. She literally spent 20 minutes yesterday explaining the plot of some obscure visual novel to me. The cognitive dissonance strikes again. Starts making tier lists of the men in our office based on sexual market value. Shows it to me like I'm supposed to be impressed. You're in B tier, she informs me generously. You'd be higher, but you're under 6 feet and have beta personality traits. Thanks, I guess, I say, wondering how my life reached this point. She nods seriously, like she just gave me valuable feedback. Find out she's been DMing other guys in the office with her ratings. HR finally has to step in and tell her to stop. This is discrimination against women, she protests during the meeting. Men rate women all the time and nobody says anything. Nobody should be rating anyone at work, HR explains patiently. This is a professional environment, not a dating app. She sulks for days after that, barely talking to anyone. I enjoy the peace and quiet while it lasts. But like a phoenix rising from the ashes of cringe, she comes back worse than ever. Now she's into witchcraft for femcels. I'm manifesting my ideal partner, she tells me while burning sage at her desk. The universe will bring me a high-value male. The smoke alarm goes off and facilities has to come reset it. She's banned from burning things in the office. This is religious persecution, she mutters while glaring at the security guard. If I was a man doing Bitcoin mining, nobody would care. That comparison doesn't even make sense, but I've learned not to question the logic anymore. Just nod and smile. She starts wearing crystals and doing tarot readings during lunch. Tells me that the cards say I'm going to die alone unless I change. The Three of Swords means you have toxic masculinity blocking your heart chakra, she explains seriously. I thought toxic masculinity was bad, I ask, confused. She sighs like I'm the stupidest person alive. You need some toxic traits to attract women, but not too much, she says. It's about balance, like light and dark Yagami. Pretty sure she means yin and yang, but also, light Yagami is literally a serial killer, so maybe that's accurate for her worldview. The breaking point comes when she decides to shoot her shot with the new senior developer who just transferred from the Tokyo office. Dude is everything she claims to want. Tall, good-looking, makes good money, likes anime. She turns into a completely different person around him. Suddenly she's wearing makeup, washing her hair, even bought new clothes that aren't anime merch. It's like watching a nature documentary. She giggles at all his jokes, brings him homemade bento boxes, even pretends to need help with code she definitely knows. I thought you said changing yourself for a man was betraying feminism, I ask her privately. She waves me off dismissively. This is different. He's actually worth it, she says. Plus, I'm not changing. I'm just enhancing my natural femininity. Watch this train wreck unfold over several weeks. She gets more desperate as he politely deflects all her advances. Finally, she confesses to him dramatically in the break room. Full anime style, even says, I have liked you since the moment I saw you, senpai. Dude lets her down gently, explains he's already seeing someone back in Japan. She looks like someone just deleted her save file. But I did everything right, she wails. I was feminine and supportive and made him food. The forum said this would work. He escapes as fast as possible while she has a complete meltdown. I'm stuck there because she's blocking the only exit. This is your fault. She suddenly turns on me. You gave me bad advice. You sabotaged me because you're jealous. I told you to be yourself, I remind her. You're the one who turned into a different person and called him senpai. Being myself doesn't work. That's the whole point, she screams. Nice girls finish last. Men only want fake bimbos. Maybe men just want someone who doesn't spend all day on toxic forums, I suggest. This was the wrong thing to say. She starts ugly crying and calling me every name in the Femcel dictionary. I'm a scrote, a moid, a low-value male, a beta cuck. Security has to escort her out while she's still ranting about the cock carousel and hypergamy and other terminally online buzzwords. She doesn't come back the next day, or the day after that. Turns out she quit via email, said the company was a toxic masculine environment. Check her social media out of morbid curiosity. She's already posting about how her abusive workplace discriminated against her. According to her version, she was a victim of harassment from jealous men who couldn't handle a strong, independent woman. No mention of the tier lists, the unwanted advances, the sage burning, or calling her coworker senpai. Funny how that works. Last I heard, she got a remote job and spends all day moderating Femcel forums, probably telling other girls to do the same shit. Learned a valuable lesson though. Male incels and femcels are literally the same thing with different pronouns. Both blame the opposite gender for all their problems while refusing to do any actual self-improvement. Both create elaborate theories about sexual marketplace dynamics instead of just treating people like human beings. And both smell like they need to discover the magical technology known as regular showers and deodorant. My face when I realize I spent months being some femcel's emotional support himbo while she slowly descended into madness. My face when she probably posted about me on her forums as an example of a beta orbiter who couldn't appreciate a real woman. My face when I'm just trying to code in peace and somehow became the main character in someone's Hosei manga fever dream. At least the office is quiet now and nobody judges me for eating lunch alone. Sometimes being single isn't so bad after all. Beamy 24, working dead-end office job and scrolling Tinder during lunch breaks. Like pathetic loser, finally match with girl named Brooke, who actually responds to messages. She's cute blonde with basic white girl aesthetic, but seems chill in texts. We chat for a week about random crap like favorite pizza toppings and whether pineapple belongs on pizza. She suggests meeting at local coffee shop downtown for casual first date. Nothing fancy, just getting to know each other better. Seems normal enough, so I agree. Spend entire morning getting ready, like I'm meeting the president. Shower twice, shave carefully, pick out best casual outfit that doesn't scream desperate virgin. Arrive at coffee shop 15 minutes early because punctuality shows respect, order Americano, and seat at corner table with good view of entrance, nervously checking phone every 30 seconds. Brooke walks in right on time, but something seems off. She's followed by a group of 5 other girls who definitely weren't mentioned in our conversations. They march in like synchronized swimming team heading to Olympics, all wearing matching outfits and carrying identical Starbucks cups like some kind of cult. Brooke spots me and waves enthusiastically while her entourage surveys the room like Secret Service agents. My brain starts processing that this might not be normal first date. "Hey, Anon, these are my friends," she says, introducing pack of judgmental faces staring at me like I'm exotic zoo animal. "Hope you don't mind, but they wanted to meet you." Mind absolutely blown because who brings entire friend group to Tinder date? But trying to play it cool, say sure, no problem, more the merrier, right? Wrong answer apparently because they exchange glances like I just failed first test. We all sit at large table and suddenly feel like defendant in court case. Girl named Madison immediately starts interrogation. "So Anon, what do you do for work?" Tell them about my office job doing data entry, which sounds boring even to me. Data entry? That's interesting. Do you have career aspirations beyond that? Asks another friend named Taylor, with tone suggesting she already knows. Answer is no. Explain. I'm working on certifications to move into IT field, which technically true even though I've been saying that for 2 years without actually studying. Third friend named Jessica chimes in, "What are your hobbies outside work?" Panic, because my hobbies include playing League of Legends and watching anime, which won't impress anyone. Lie and say I enjoy hiking and reading books, even though last book I read was manga and last hike was walking to corner store for energy drinks. Brooke just sits there smiling while her friends conduct full background check, occasionally nodding like she's taking mental notes for later evaluation. Madison pulls out actual notebook and starts writing down my answers, which seems excessive for casual coffee date. "What's your 5-year plan?" she asks like HR representative. Tell them I want to advance in tech field, maybe start my own company someday. Complete bullshit, but sounds ambitious enough to satisfy corporate tribunal. Taylor asks about my relationship history, which uncomfortable territory. Admit I've had few serious relationships, but nothing that lasted more than a year. Why didn't they work out? Jessica probes like therapists trying to diagnose psychological issues, explain different life goals, and growing apart naturally. Wrong answer again. Because they start whispering among themselves while Brooke maintains frozen smile. Feel like I'm bombing audition for role I didn't know I was auditioning for. Fourth friend named Amber, who hasn't spoken yet, suddenly asks, "What's your credit score?" Completely inappropriate question for first date, but they're all staring expectantly. Tell them it's decent, around 700, which actually true. Because I'm responsible with money, even if everything else about my life is disaster. They seem impressed by this answer, and Amber makes check mark in her own notebook. Apparently financial responsibility earns points in whatever scoring system they're using. Fifth friend named Riley asks about my living situation. Explain I have my own apartment and live alone, which another point in my favor based on their reactions. "Do you cook or just eat takeout?" Madison asks, continuing domestic skills assessment. Lie again and say I cook regularly, even though my kitchen exists primarily for storing pizza boxes. Brooke finally speaks up. Anon is really funny in his messages. He had me laughing all week. First positive thing anyone has said, but her friends look skeptical. "Tell us joke," Taylor demands, like I'm performing seal at aquarium. Mine goes completely blank under pressure and stammer out, "Worst dad joke ever heard." "Why don't scientists trust atoms because they make up everything?" Silence so loud could hear pin drop, followed by polite fake laughter from Brooke only. Jessica writes something in notebook that probably says terrible sense of humor or avoid at all costs, feeling sweat forming despite air conditioning. Madison asks about my family, which seems normal question, until she follows up with, "What do your parents do for work and what's their net worth?" Explain dad works construction and mom is nurse. Which honest blue-collar background, they seem disappointed like they were expecting trust fund baby. "Do you own car or use public transportation?" Amber asks, continuing asset evaluation. Tell them I have reliable Honda Civic, which practical choice for my budget. Riley wants to know about my education background, so explain college degree in business administration, which sounds more impressive than it actually was. Taylor asks if I've ever been arrested, which seems extreme for coffee date screening, but answer honestly that my record is clean. They've been interrogating me for hours while Brooke sits there like silent observer. Feel like I'm being evaluated for loan application rather than dating potential. Madison closes notebook and they all excuse themselves to bathroom for private conference. Brooke stays behind and apologizes for her friends being thorough. They just want to make sure you're a good guy. She explains like this is normal vetting process for casual relationships. Ask if this happens with all her dates. Only the ones I really like, she says, which is supposed to be compliment, but feels more like threat. They return from bathroom huddle with verdict apparently reached. Jessica announces, "We've decided you seem like decent person, but we have some concerns." Proceeds to list my shortcomings like performance review from hell. Your career ambitions are vague, your hobbies are sedentary, and your joke was objectively terrible, but your financial responsibility and clean record are positive. Taylor adds, "We think you have potential, but would need significant improvement in several areas. Feel like project car, they're considering whether to restore." Amber suggests, "Maybe you could work on developing more interesting hobbies and actually pursue those certifications you mentioned." Life coaching from stranger. Riley recommends definitely work on your humor because Brooke deserves someone who can make her laugh genuinely. Noted that my comedy career is over, Madison concludes, "Overall, we give you conditional approval for second date, but you're on probation." Like I'm parolee checking in with officer. Brooke seems relieved by their verdict and suggests we get dinner later this week, apparently past minimum threshold for continued evaluation. Friends pack up their notebooks and Starbucks cups like business meeting just concluded. Exchange numbers with Brooke and say goodbye to entire committee. Walk to car feeling emotionally drained, like just completed. Job interview for position I'm not qualified for. Text my buddy about bizarre experience. "Dude, that's insane, who brings friends to first date?" He responds, confirming my suspicion that this was not normal human behavior. Spend rest of day questioning whether Brooke is worth dealing with her judgmental friend group or if I should cut losses and run. Decide to give her chance since she seemed nice. When not surrounded by personal board of directors, maybe second date will be one-on-one. Wrong assumption. Because when we meet for dinner, she brings different from friend for safety, who spends entire meal fact-checking my stories. Third date, she brings her sister who asks about my retirement savings and long-term financial planning. Starting to see pattern here. Realize Brooke incapable of making decisions without committee approval, and I'm essentially dating entire social circle rather than individual person. Break up after fourth date when she suggests I meet her parents and grandmother for final approval before we become official couple. Friend asks what happened and explain that dating Brooke was like applying for mortgage with multiple co-signers and character references. Some girls just have trust issues, he says. But this went beyond trust issues into full background investigation territory. Month later, see Brooke on Tinder again with updated bio that says serious inquiries only must pass friend approval. At least she's being honest now. Swipe left faster than Usain Bolt running 100-meter dash, because once was enough for that psychological evaluation masquerading as dating. Now when girls mention wanting me to meet their friends early in relationship, I get Vietnam, flashbacks, and change subject immediately. Learned valuable lesson about red flags and group dynamics in modern dating scene, where apparently committees make romantic decisions. Also learned I need better jokes and actual hobbies. Because League of Legends and anime consumption don't impress selection panels. Currently working on those certifications for real this time and taking improv comedy class to improve humor skills, self-improvement through dating trauma, that feel when you realize some people treat relationships like hiring process, complete with multiple rounds of interviews and reference checks.